Good evening, viewers and users of YouTube. How are you doing? This is LARDLOGO signing on. Hope you're all doing pleasantly this evening, and as always, I wish you nothing but the best, no matter who you are or where you are watching. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again. Apparently, this subscriber spectacular was too big to be confined to just one special. Actually, the truth is, one Speggy man sent in way too many questions to the point where his final 15 questions have to be answered in a separate special. Also in this special, you are going to see my collection of 16mm films, U-matic tapes, and Betacam tapes, which range from the original Betacam to Betacam SP, all the way up to digital Betacam, and even an HD cam tape. It's all coming up. Before we really get in to the production, into the broadcast, before we really start answering questions, I have some news to report. First and foremost, if you guys watched the original special, which if you haven't, what are you doing? Go watch the first part right now. You would know about the Nickelodeon bumper involving the UFOs that I talked about being absolutely terrified of when I was a young child. Well, I can safely say that that bumper has been found. And I found it during the broadcast of the special. Here it is.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, so that was the bumper that caused so much trauma, or maybe it wasn't, but that's the closest thing to what I remember. And my first thought seeing this thing again, I got the heebie-jeebies all over again. And then after I was done watching the bumper, my thoughts were, this is what caused so much trauma? This was my childhood nightmare? This was the scariest thing I had ever seen as a child? I felt so stupid. Now, in the comments, there was someone that said there was another version of the bumper they remember seeing where the aliens that pop out at the end had more screen time. And I want to believe that what he's referring to is the bumper that I'm referring to. So, in any case, this is the closest thing to what I remember. They might have made another bumper using these same characters. So, I want to say that this is the bumper, but if it isn't, at least you have an idea of what it looked like, because this was 2005. The bumper that I saw ran in July of 2007. So, they might have made an update or something. I don't really know, but at the moment, I want to say the case is closed, and let's move on. As previously mentioned, Speggy Man has 15 more questions for us. So without further ado, let's get into it. Question number 1. How did you get into rail fanning and sirens as a child? Interesting question. First off, the rail fanning part actually started when I was very little. First and foremost, one of my absolute favorite childhood shows that wasn't a game show was Thomas the Tank Engine. So obviously, Thomas the Tank Engine was a big part of that. But it all really started when I was really little. I always liked the sound that the car made whenever it went over railroad crossings. You know, the bum-bum-bum-bum, that noise. I was always fascinated by that noise. And then we used to always have to do a lot of business in Sumas. We still do today, and this was back in the early 2000s before the economy really crashed a few years later. Trains were running pretty much 24/7 back then. So whenever we'd get done doing whatever we were doing, we would always go up to the nearest railroad crossing or the rail yard or whatever and watch the trains do their thing. Now granted, this was only 4191, the Sumas switcher, But yeah, it was something. And then speaking of the Sumas subdivision, we used to always make family trips to Bellingham, and just about every time when we were on our way home, we would always arrive in Deming at the same time that the Sumas turn would be crossing the Mount Baker Highway, so always got to see that train there. And then, of course, you know, other things that influenced was got to go on a lot of trips that were train related. Summer of 2004, I think. I wanted to say 2003. No, yeah, the summer of 2003. 2003. I'm not doing this. I'm going into this and winging it, by the way. In the summer of 2003, my grandparents and I took the Amtrak Cascades from Bellingham to Seattle, spent the day in Seattle, and then came back up from Seattle to Bellingham. So that was a pretty big one. And then in the summer of 2004, my grandparents took myself up to Squamish, British Columbia for Day Out with Thomas at the local railroad museum. And then there was another summer where we went to my grandparents and I went to the Silverwood Amusement Park in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and they had a train ride there with a steam locomotive and everything. And they saw my engineer's hat, and I actually got to go on board and get pictures. They didn't allow people into the cab, so that was pretty fascinating stuff. And then multiple other things. Up nearby, we have a tourist attraction down in Wickersham called the Lake Whatcom Railway. In 2006, we took family trip down there for their Easter train ride. And then there's a kind of like a family fun center in Birch Bay that has a miniature train. We rode it around Christmas time. Just a whole lot of stuff, but the actual rail fanning part never really began until 2009 when I started watching on YouTube. People would record trains, just go out as a hobby. And I wanted to start doing that. So in December of 2009, I started rail fanning, and as of December 15th, 2024, the day is being recorded, I still do it. The sirens did not happen until, I'd like to say, early 2010. I came across this YouTube upload of this siren here in Wisconsin, this ACA Hurricane. It'll always be my favorite siren. I don't care how bad it is or the reputation it gets from the siren community. It will always be my favorite siren. But I didn't really know about any sirens. Up near where I live, there's a firehouse that has a siren on it, but it's been deactivated for decades now. Didn't really get into going out and watching sirens until I discovered we had tsunami sirens in Bellingham on, out of all days, April Fool's Day 2018, and from there started going out and recording every month. But then it got old. It's the same thing every month. We just have the Westminster chimes and the voice announcement. So now we only do a few per year. We do one Westminster chime test. During the Great Shakeout, when they do the actual test, we go out for that one. Whenever they test the one in Sumas, we go to that one. And then I'm going to try to start doing again the system in the concrete area. Want to try doing that one again. But yeah, so hope that answers the question. Doesn't really say much there. Once again, doing this without any real script or rehearsal. Recorded an earlier take last Monday, but had this really bad cough and it kept interfering. That's why I'm redoing this. Question number 2, and I just spray it all over. Every time I talk, I spray it instead of saying it. It's irritating. Alright, question number 2, and oh boy, Microsoft Word has some spelling and grammar issues with this question, but I just present them on screen the way they were written out. crack the knuckles, because that always feels good. All right, question number 2. How the freak do you manage browsing online about rail fanning without ADHD? Never heard of that one. Is that an Audi that has ADHD? Flaring up. I myself nearly always get overwhelmed with the tons of websites and resources for retro computing and 20th century retro stuff. Very frustrating and severe cases of archive panic. Are you also being in a similar situation or managing rail fanning and siren communities efficiently? I want advice from the one and only Lards. That issue does not affect myself. You know what does? The night before I go out to watch trains, it is very hard to sleep, and I'll get so excited that I either do not sleep at all, or I'll be asleep for less than 4 hours before I find myself awake and unable to go back to sleep. That's when the ADHD flares up, or the ADHD, as you say here. It doesn't happen when I'm watching stuff on YouTube or doing anything related to the hobbies, but like if it's the night before, yeah, I'm gonna get real excited, and it's going to be a struggle to go to sleep. I know this answer was kind of short compared to the previous one, but that's really all that needs to be said. Question number 3. This is a real simple one compared to the last one. What's your taste in music? This is going to sound absolutely silly to a lot of you, but game show music. It's just so happy and energetic and upbeat. Like, it just makes you feel good. If I had to name, camera just clicked. If I had to name my favorite game show theme songs, there'd be quite a few. First, you'd have the theme songs to Hitman and Hot Potato. Those were short-lived game shows on NBC in the 1980s. Any and all versions of the Supermarket Sweep theme song. That's probably my favorite one. In fact, when I was supposed to become a professional wrestler, after my victories, the Supermarket Sweep theme song was supposed to play. Of course, COVID put an end to that, unfortunately. And then the theme song to Super Password. That's a pretty good little composition. And then also in this one, you can include the Jeopardy theme song from 1984. And the Wheel of Fortune theme song from 1989, that's a good one. The theme song to Nickelodeon's Double Dare's pretty good. The Temple Run music from Legends of the Hidden Temple, that's a fun little one. It sounded really corny on television, but isolated on its own, it sounds pretty good. I'm trying to think of what else. 3 different versions of the Family Feud theme song I could consider a favorite. The original 1976 composition. My personal favorite is the 1994 Ed Kalehoff composition. And then the remixed versions composed by John Lewis Parker that were used when Louis Anderson, Richard Karn, and John O'Hurley were hosting. And then I guess another one... the theme song to the Disney game show Win, Lose, or Draw. And I guarantee you there's plenty of other ones in there, but those are the only ones I can really think of on the tip of my tongue. Another piece of music that I really like, the music they used in the 1980s fantasy action show Airwolf. This was a show that ran on CBS in the mid-1980s. Just both versions of the song are really good. The original orchestral version and the later and more popular synthesizer version that everyone's familiar with. If you like synth music, you'll love that. So that answers that question. Moving on, question number 4. Thoughts on severe thunderstorms and severe weather events. You know, if it's every once in a while, I have no problem with it. But the main issue is when it happens all the time. Like around this time of the year, the non-summer time of the year, you know, especially fall, which is what it is right now. It's probably going to be winter when this thing broadcasts. But just like in the fall, we get every time a new system comes in, high pressure, low pressure, whatever, we always get a windstorm. And up where I live, the power grid is fairly unstable. The stupidest things can knock the power out for several hours, if not several days. And, you know, it's just irritating. You know, just the constant windstorms in the fall. And then every January and February, we always get polar vortexes. And everything just becomes a winter wonderland. And that's an issue because the car I drive is not built for winter weather. So you're stuck at home this entire time. And then another thing that happens around this time of the year, atmospheric rivers. If you've heard the stereotype that it's always raining in Washington, it's pretty much correct for the western side of the state. The eastern side is considered a cold desert, but over here on the western side, yeah, it's constantly raining. In fact, the forecast for this upcoming week is nothing but rain. Like maybe a few hours away from it on Thursday, but nothing but rain. Coincidentally, the only time it's really not raining outside is when I have to work. Of course, I'm off right now and it's dry outside. Who knows how long that will last. But yeah, if the weather event happens every once in a while, I have no problem with it. But if it's like the fall, when you have some sort of weather event happening all the time, like those aforementioned atmospheric rivers, we got one coming in. For those of you unaware, atmospheric rivers are where it just pours down rain for several days on end without stopping. And it happens all the time in the fall. Like, in the fall, the weather is irritating. Any other time, I really don't have any issue. I guess fall and winter, I have issues with the weather. Spring and summer, it's perfect. That pretty much answers your question. And finally, question number 5. Plans on returning LARDLOGO Will Watch Anything? I have not forgotten about LARDLOGO Will Watch Anything. I previously mentioned in the last special that LARDLOGO Will Watch Anything will return when we hit 5,000 subscribers. It'll return and become a regular series. The show does kind of live on. Its spiritual successor is when I record myself watching my favorite sports teams win or lose championship games. But yeah, the show will come back, and I'm also planning on producing another one. LARDLOGO Will Play Anything, where I'll play any computer game as long as it's free. That's another one. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the collections. First, this is my collection of 16mm syndication prints, among other things. Started collecting in 2017. Here it is, my 16mm film collection. Please watch. And, welcome to the future, everybody. It is now February 5th, 2025. Happy 35th anniversary to one of my all-time favorite shows, Supermarket Sweep. I am, of course, referring to the, second version, the, version that ran on Lifetime from 1990 through 95, and then on PAX from 2000 through 2003. Just thought I'd bring that up. Third favorite game show of all time behind Pressure, Luck, and Jeopardy. So here you are going to see my collection of 16mm syndication prints and films, among other things. In my collection, there are 17 reels, and 9 different shows represented. So a majority of these are Viacom, as it was called back in the day, syndication prints, but there's a few other ones, especially a few PBS WGBH reels in here. We're going to go alphabetically for this one. So starting out, I'm going to flip the mirror over so I can see. We have the Beverly Hillbillies. I have one reel right here. This is the episode Sonny Drysdale Returns. This was one of my first ever reels. I have not uploaded the closing to this one on YouTube yet. I have played the reel. It has a V of Doom at the end. I love how this is off center right here. Here's the front right here. And I like this right here, 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter. Here's the address. I wonder if they still have that same address. And then on the back right here, nothing too special to report. Here's the inside of the reel, and would you look at that? I need to get that tape that seals it up. Right here, Viacom print. And then in here, there's a print logo for the Beverly Hillbillies. I know it's backwards, but yeah, trying to keep this from reeling out. I need to tape that in. You can see these lines right here, the green line, this clear line right here. This is where they would have put the commercials. So that's the first one. It's the Beverly Hillbillies. I do have a syndication tape for this show. You'll see it when I get to U-Maddox. Up next, I have the Bob Newhart Show. I have 2 episodes of that. The first one did not come in a case. It came like this. There's my face. Wee wee. Right here, what's interesting is this one is on a World Vision reel. World Vision Enterprises only has that on one side. Just for you, Speggy, I know how much you love that logo. This is the episode Separation Story. This one has a filmed V of Doom at the end. Well, obviously filmed. I don't know why I said that. I have run this reel once. I put the closing on YouTube back in 2017. However, the credits are only partially seen. I'll have to redo this one in the future. This one also has commercials on it. Off the top of my head, I remember there being a Burger King commercial. So I'll have to come in and redo this one someday. There's a side right there. It's taped. I don't want to untape it. Bob Newhart. So that's the first one. The second one actually came in a reel. Bring it in so you can see. This is the episode Come Live With Me. And I believe I ran this one. I've never played it, but I believe I am forwarded to the end reel to reel, and it has a V of Doom at the end. This canister's kind of cracked right here. Yeah, this is another one I'll have to do. In fact, it's not even taped right here. The tape came apart. See if I can't. This one's, all we have right here is leader, a whole bunch of clear leader, but yeah, there it is on this side right here. Viacom Enterprises. It's mirrored because I have the table flipped over, the screen flipped over. Here's this one, here's the rear. And then in here it has the same notes. I'm going to assume this is the runtime, and this is where the commercials go. So yeah, I'll have to play this one someday in the future. I know I said after Bob Newhart passed away last July, on the same day we had to put Brodus down, terrible day, that I would run these reels and upload them to YouTube. So here in the future, I will get on that. So that's both episodes of Bob Newhart. we're going to move on to PBS. This is one of my many WGBH reels. So this is one of my favorite cases, and I'll show you why here in a moment. This is not the original case this one came in. But you take this in here, like this, and it opens. I always have fun messing with this one. This is a WGBH show, Enterprise. This one, sometimes you have to make sure they're all locked before you open it. I uploaded this one. I think this is my most recent 16mm upload. I really like how this one sits in here. Oh, I gotta retape this one. I'll do that here in a moment. I'm gonna redo this one because the thing came out really bright. I'm gonna redo all of mine eventually, but yeah, nothing special here, just a plain black reel. Got a bunch of leader here. This is the episode Bankrupt. I believe you can watch all the episodes of this show on YouTube. This is one, I don't even know if they have this on the American Archive. I'll have to check. But yeah, I'm gonna retape this one real quick. Have no idea why it untaped itself. Another thing I really like about this casing is this foam right here, and then this cute little thing that tells you what happens if you have issues. This cute little cartoon right here showing a screwed up projector. Speaking of, the projector I use is behind this bed. I'm not gonna try to lug it out tonight. We're gonna put this one back in. Alright, all locked away. Up next we have, this is an episode of Gomer Pyle USMC. Does not say Viacom Enterprises on the reel. Uploaded this one back in 2019. Much to my surprise, this one had the pinball at the end. So you can watch that one on my YouTube channel right now. Have a bunch of leader. This episode is To Save a Life. Right here, they put a bunch of leader in, which I appreciate. There's the title. So yeah, this one didn't come in a canister either. This one just came with the reel. Quite a few of mine are just reel only. This one I'll have to find that type of tape they use to put it down, because I don't like them being freeform like that. Up next we have one of my favorite shows to look for, Gunsmoke. Yeah, you just saw this, I know that. That's impolite. First off, this is probably my favorite reel out of the entire collection. This is a reference print. And I have two different versions of this available for viewing on YouTube. This is a really neat one. This is probably the oldest one in my collection. Zoom in right here. It was loaned to Larry Dobkin of 4-Star, which I find interesting. And then right here, reference print. This is the episode The Preacher, and it looks like this was broadcast on June 28th, 1958. Back when my grandparents were children, young children. And print number 3. And then down here it gives you the address. This is a really neat one because it actually has commercials on it. Like commercials for L&M cigarettes. Like even the opening sequence for Gunsmoke, if you watch the reruns now, it quickly fades out. But it would transition into an advertisement for L&M cigarettes. And then after the end credits, they have a scene where the cast breaks the fourth wall and advertises the cigarettes. Yeah, I have it available for viewing on YouTube if you want to see it. There we go. Unlike the front there, nothing too special to talk about here. Yeah, I really need to get this redone. Need to get that film tape. Just a plain plain reel here. You can see the film right there. Yeah, this thing smells horrible. It smells like a can of salt and vinegar potato chips. So we'll put that one back in there. That's the first one. I got 2 more. The second one right here, this is an hour-long episode. It did not come with its own canister. I bought this one. This one is horribly chopped up. I have no idea what episode this is. But when I examined it, yeah, this catch reel, this reel right here is too small for it. They chopped off the very end of the credits, so I have no idea what logo was at the end. And then I went in, and this is in really poor shape, you can see right here. I'm going to have to go in someday and try to re-splice this all together, and whenever that happens, I'll get this one available for viewing on YouTube. But yeah, this one's in really poor shape. Some of the parts that were cut out on the reel, I have in a can in the studio. I'll have to get that eventually. But yeah, not going to do too much talking about that one. We'll worry about that one when we get to it. Last but not least, this is a Viacom syndication print, an early one. It has the pinball at the end. This is the episode The Money Store. This is one of my more recent ones. I got this one last year. It's available for viewing on YouTube. Zoom in here so you guys can see it right here. This is a big boy. I'm just going to say that right now real quick. For comparison, here's your comparison. It's a pretty big boy. Gotta be completely honest with all of you. Open this one up. And this one, I've got to be honest, this one's in really good shape. It's in almost broadcast quality until you get to the end credits. Then it's a little worse for wear, but this one's an amazing quality, and I got to get more film tape here. Thankfully, this is all just leader. Yeah, here. Viacom Enterprises, and it says it on the back, too. Yeah, this one's in wonderful condition. There it is again. That one's definitely one of my favorites. Especially because it has the pinball on it, and as far as I know, there's no way you'll be able to see the pinball on any reruns of Gunsmoke these days, not even international reruns. If you're lucky, you might see the V, but the only place you'll be able to see the pinball these days is on My Three Sons, and it's only a select few episodes. Speaking of My Three Sons, that's what we're moving up to. Of all the programs I have, this is what I have the most. When I search for films, My Three Sons is the first thing that I think of. So first off right here, this one did not come in a case. This is the episode, What Did You Do Today, Grandpa? What did you do today, Grandpa? Question mark. Right here, CBS TV. I'll show you the sides right here. Kind of hard to read, but right there it says, Mac fed My Three Sons. And yeah, this is in, the print itself's in pretty bad shape, but yeah, this is an original, and it's available for viewing on my YouTube right now. Besides, there are no distribution logos at the end, because this predates Viacom. So it was honestly kind of uncomfortable to watch just nothing but black screen after the credits. You're so used to seeing a distribution logo afterwards. But yeah, this is an original print. Yeah, it is taped right there. Perfect. Yeah. That's all there is to talk about with that one. Up next, we jump into the syndication prints. This is a syndication print of the episode Help, the Are Coming. And yes, I did censor that because is an ethnic slur. Says Viacom on the back also. I have this one available for viewing on YouTube also. This one has the pinball at the end. And right there, the episode title. I'm sorry, Speggy. I'm just showing off the reel. Yeah, right there, it's taped in. This one's in pretty good shape too. Faded, but what do you expect? In fact, this one and that, the Money Store episode of Gunsmoke were both ordered around the same time. Up next, this is not an original case. This was originally a case for a copy of the Three Stooges episode Punch Drunk. You can see it right here. But this is the episode, There's a What in the Attic? Now what's interesting about this one is the seller said, which he sent this really neat little thank you postcard. I thought that was really neat. He said it was a network original print. In fact, yeah, it's taped right there. My Three Sons, network original. That's what it says. Yet at the end, it has a V of Doom. So it's a syndication print. But nonetheless, here's this one. Just a plain metal reel here. Nothing to write home about. Yeah, this one, you can view the opening and closing on YouTube. I uploaded it, I'd like to say like 2018 or so. I got this reel back in 17. In fact, it came in around the same time, actually 2018, when MeTV got around to the episodes that had the pinball preserved at the end. So yeah, this is another one. Wee wee. Last but not least, this was my very first reel. I bought this to put it in. This is a canister for an episode of Mary Tyler Moore Show, Lewd House is an Old Flame. This is the infamous Red Tape Romance reel. This one's on a United Artists reel. This is the infamous one. Right there is where the pinball is. This is the one where I uploaded the clip of the pinball ripping as I played it on the projector. Moral of the story, thread your films right and don't play the certain part over and over again. I tried to use Scotch tape to fix it there. This one's a shame. This one's a deep shame. I'll have to see what I can't do with this one in the future. On the back right there, UATV. I'm assuming that's United Artists. But yeah, this is the episode Red Tape Romance, if I didn't say that yet. Yeah, I am very ashamed of this one, so I rarely, if ever, bring it out. I'm just showing this because I told you guys I'd show all my film reels. But clearly, as you guys can tell, I have great shame in the way I treated that reel. You saw right there on the screen, that's where it ripped. Up next, I have my 3 reels of Nova. So I spent all this money trying to get a 16mm WGBH logo and came up short with every purchase. So this is a 2-parter. This is the Nova episode, The Gene Engineers. Time-Life Multimedia up here. Right here, it's really hard to read, but there's a Time-Life logo right there. Nothing on the back over here. What's really neat about this one, before I show you the reel, this is part 2, by the way. Oh, it doesn't have it on here. Looks like we have this right here. Have some funding information. Here's the reel itself. Development of the chick, extra embryonic membranes. And it says that here on the leader too. Indiana University. They had a pretty good season of football this year. But yeah, this one has nothing at the end. It just says the end and it fades out. And then right here, have some more information right here. I have not played this reel yet. I haven't played any of the Nova reels yet. What happened there? Thankfully, that's just leader film. We haven't damaged anything. It kind of got caught trying to shut it. But yeah, here's this one. This one right here is part 1 of the episode. You can see the front right there. Time Live Multimedia. This one's faded. You can't even make it out. This is what I was trying to show you guys. They put the lesson plan right here. Introduction and summary, discussion questions, suggested reading, audience level, age 16 to adult, subject area. Then I like this, I like how the address is in this circle right here. But yeah, no WGBH logo at the start. It just cuts right to the open. This is just leader film right here. But yeah, right here, Time Life Multimedia. Doesn't say it on the back. You see this red leader right here got crushed in there. Yeah, this is another one I'll have to play someday. I like the little pattern right here. But yeah, there's this one. And last but not least, when it comes to all this stuff, this is another episode of Nova. Sunspot Mystery, Sun Weather Connection, another Time Life Multimedia. There's the lesson plan. Age 12 and up, so more appropriate for older elementary school age children. But if you look right here, the film is not in here. Why is that the case, you may be asking? It is because I actually played the film earlier, and it's on this catcher reel right here. I still need to rewind it. I tried to look through for logos, but there wasn't anything. So yeah, I'll have to go in and rewind this thing right here. End. Please do not rewind, which is interesting. Yeah, this one doesn't fit in here. So yeah, the actual film's right here. I fast forwarded to the end, but other than that, where'd it go? The film tape is right here, so I'm going to secure it down for right now. Because we're getting some pretty warped leader film right there. I apologize for doing this right here, right now, but yeah, there we go. That should secure it for a little while. Got to figure out what kind of tape this is so I can get it for the rest of my reels. So yeah, definitely have to work with that one in the future. Anyway, those are all 3 episodes of Nova that I have in my possession. Well, 2 episodes. One's a 2-parter, another's just simply one. We're getting down to the end, guys. So this is a very sentimental one. This is another one of my first ones. No case, this is an episode of The Riflemen, Meeting at Midnight. This one has no logos at the end. It simply fades to black. I played this one through, but I've never uploaded it to YouTube. I gotta do that someday. But this one's just in a simple case here. Once again, no tape to put this leader in place. But yeah, this was my grandfather's favorite show, so a lot of sentimental value regarding this one. Sorry about that. But yeah, apparently the Rifleman used to have a 4-star logo at the end. Can anyone confirm that? Because obviously on modern day reruns, you just have the 2011 copyright notice and the Peter Rogers Organization logo. But anyway, there's that one. And finally, this is an episode of This Week in the AFL, which is what they did long before Sports Center. This is from week 5. No, actually on the title it says week 3 of the 1968 season. If I remember right, that's the season the Jets won the Super Bowl, and as a Dolphins fan, I'm not a big fan of the Jets. But yeah, I played this one before partially. I think you can see right here where I stopped the reel actually. I believe this has an AFL Films logo at the end, so by this point, the AFL and NFL had merged. But, to appease AFL loyalists, they created a new division, AFL Films. The NFL series was distributed by Screen Gems. But yeah, this is another one I'll have to play sometime in the future. Anyway, yeah, that is all of my 16mm films. And without further ado, let's send you back to my past self to answer some more Spaghetti Boys questions. Oui, oui. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back into another 5 of Spaghetti Boys questions. Question number 6. Do you ever feel frustrated with the concern of not being a significant part of the Avid team and not participating in their projects, series, or moderation? Do you feel worried by the fact that you're genuinely left behind and can't invent a new series or participate more frequently in the Avid team and its servers?
Who the f*** starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. I apologize. I'm trying to stay in a good mood, but this question really irritates myself. Here's the thing. Back in the 2010s, especially the later part of the decade, I was very involved with the Closing Logo group, as it was called back then. Was always in the forums, always editing the wiki, and was definitely involved with the specials. I was pretty well involved. But here's the thing. The difference between then and now is that the people that were in charge back then are no longer in charge. They've moved on to other things besides a silly little logo website. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Avid. I'm just saying the people that were there before are no longer there. And I really do not know the new people in charge of Avid that well. If they want myself to join their shows or productions or whatever, I'll do it without any issue. But at the moment, you know, they're doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing. And I personally feel fine with that. And to answer your second part of the question, if I feel worried if I'm left behind and can't invent anything, I could honestly care less about how my series do, how my shows do. I could care less pretty much about this. Yeah, I complain about how people watch those Saint Elsewhere credits and refuse to watch anything else, but here's the thing. What I do here, this is a hobby. This is something I do for fun. This has no real impact on my actual personal life. This is just a hobby. What actually matters is my actual job, and where I work, I am valued and important at where I work, and at the moment, that's all that really matters. That's all that matters. What I do in the real world. What matters on this little social media platform, on this YouTube channel, I could care less. So yeah, once again, to answer your question, yeah, I'm not too worried about not being involved with Avid. If they want to reach out and invite myself to be part of their group, I'll do it happily. But You know, the people I was involved with, the group I worked with, aren't involved with it anymore. I really don't know the people in charge of it that well. And to answer the second part of the question, once again, this is a hobby. This doesn't matter. What matters is what I do, my actual jobs. Those are what matter. I'm going to move on because this question really irritates myself. It honestly doesn't feel like a question, but it feels more or less like you being upset that I'm not doing things that you would like to see. And just say that if you have an issue. If you want myself to do something, say it. Don't disguise it as one of these questions on what's supposed to be a upbeat special. Moving on, this question isn't that great either. It's another depressing one. Question number 7. How do you exactly deal with having no significant other? Because I assume that's what SO means. Not a big fan of it, to be completely honest. You know, I have tried countless times, and every time I've come up short. And it's just... It's honestly kind of painful, to be honest. I'm pretty much retired from trying. If any girl's interested, they can come up and talk to myself, because I've done it countless times, and I've come up short every time. But yeah, it does hurt, because I was hoping that by the age of 25, I would have found someone and started a family. But unfortunately, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. And you know what? To be honest, I guess that's okay, you know? I'm perfectly fine doing what I'm doing right now, you know, with the trains, the sirens, obviously the logos, because that's what the only thing people come to my channel for, that and credits. You know, it's perfectly fine. Would it be nice to have a wife and kids? Yeah, it would. But is it the end of the world? Not really. Yeah, it hurts sometimes at night. Like, I had this dream one time where I was in a relationship and fondling my significant other, and I woke up and I was hugging my pillow. But it's, you know, to answer your question, it's pretty much 50-50. Question number 8. What's with all these negative questions? Holy shit. What's a particular hobby that you hate? There are times, I'm just going to talk about my main 3 hobbies. Trains, sirens, and I guess logos. First off, with trains, you know, when I'm going out and watching the switcher, like, there will be times where it takes them several hours before they start. Like, recently, I'd go down to watch a Sumas switcher. They used to always start around 8:30. Now they start around 9:30. And that, just the sitting and waiting part, isn't that fun? And then, like, this specifically relates to the Sumas turn. This past August, I went out and waited. And it was midnight and nothing had happened. This was a Sunday evening and the switcher wasn't running, so I didn't have the safety net of having video clips of them switching. But yeah, that was a pretty irritating one. And then sometimes when they're switching, sometimes with these switchers, it'll take them longer than normal to do their jobs, and that gets kind of infuriating because sometimes I just like to go home. Of course, I'm the one that chooses to do this, so it's really kind of my own fault. With the sirens, this specifically refers to the Westminster chime tests. The sudden burst of noise. Like, I've already talked about my autism and my sensory issue. Sudden loud noise is an extreme fear of mine. Just like, sometimes, like this past April when I got the siren in Birch Bay, it took 5 minutes before they tested it. Like, just not knowing when, because their clock is different from my clock. Just the anticipation waiting for this sudden burst of noise is not that fun either. And then, the same goes for when I get the Baker River dam system up in concrete. That one just starts with a sudden burst of noise. At least with the full power siren test, you can hear the speaker arrays turning on, and then the siren in Sumas, it ramps up to get you prepared. But with the Westminster chimes and then the Baker River Dam system, it's just a sudden burst of noise. The final hobby, I guess, when it comes to this YouTube channel, I know I've talked about this before. You got to be grateful for what you have. My main interest is trains. I would include sirens with this, but the siren uploads do pretty well, so pretty happy about that. But like the trains, I can understand the fact that I am recording in the same places every month, and people probably get tired of that. But at the same time, it's just irritating when I spend all these hours, days, weeks, just putting my heart and soul into these train uploads, and nobody cares. Yet I'll put a logo on and suddenly everybody's here to watch it. And it's just like, I'll spend a lot of time, like especially when I go to YouTube Studio and it shows you the hottest uploads on your channel, and those darned St. Elsewhere credits are always #1. There's just something irritating about that. Especially after watching my grandfather flatline. The last thing I want to see or get reminded of is something similar to that. And other uploads that I get irritated by always seeing in the top 3, that stupid ragdoll logo, and then the Everybody Loves Raymond and 21 Jump Street credits. Like, I appreciate it, but it just gets annoying seeing the same uploads always being on top over everything else. And that's going to do it for that question. Here's another negative question. Question number 9. List some of your major pet peeves from life. Already kind of talked about it, but the biggest pet peeve I can think of is winter. Oh boy, do I hate winter. I am 100% a summer person. I don't care that all the Redditors and everybody on the internet loves winter and hates summer. I will die on this hill. Summer is the best season. Winter is the worst. This is why. Up here in Western Washington, all it does all year long is rain. Summer is the only time of the year where it's dry, where you don't have to worry about it raining 4 to 6 days out of the week. You can actually get outside and do things, you know. The days are longer, it's nice and warm outside. And that's especially a time of the year where I make most of my money. Right now, I work for very little. During the summer, that's when I make most of my money, the spring and summertime. So yeah, looking at winter time, I don't work that often in the fall or winter, so I'm not making that much money. And then another issue, before I get into the temperature, is the amount of daylight. You get like 5 minutes of daylight. Like, you'll get out of bed at 6, 7 a.m. and it's dark outside. The sun doesn't come up till like 8, 9 a.m. and then it's already going down by 3 p.m. Like, 70% of the 24-hour period is nothing but darkness, and it's just, you know, it's depressing. I don't like it constantly being dark. I like having daylight. And then, of course, the temperature. I have no problem with the cold. You know, I go to hockey games all the time, so I'm used to it because the Sportsplex in Bellingham, that's pretty much just a freezer. But it constantly being cold outside just gets to you. It's irritating. I hate having to dress in layers. I hate the coats. I hate the jackets. I hate the gloves. I hate the scarves. I hate the hats. I hate having to dress in all these layers because it's 30-something degrees outside. And then, of course, the weather, you know, if it gets cold enough, there's going to be snow. The roads are going to be covered in ice. Just all that sort of stuff. And the neighborhood I live in, I'm not going to say where for privacy issues, I have to go down a hill to get out of here. You can bet on your lucky stars, almost said scars, that these roads and this car do not mix in the wintertime. So you're pretty much stuck at home for 3-4 months out of the year. And I get cabin fever really easily. I have to be out and about at least once or twice per week. Otherwise, it hurts. Yeah, so, winter, not a fan. You know, just, it's always dark outside. The roads are frozen. If it gets cold enough, you can't go anywhere because you kill yourself trying to go down that hill, and just the constant cold. I don't know if I said that yet or not. Just everything. It's a major issue. The second thing, car headlights. I hate car headlights. It doesn't matter if it's daytime or nighttime. They are always distracting. And you have to focus on the road twice as hard. And the highway to get to where I live, to Bellingham, that is a very, very busy road, so you are constantly getting bombarded by headlights at nighttime. And even during the daytime, suddenly everybody's using their headlights during the day. I assume that's what you're supposed to do. But yeah, it's really irritating, especially when every single car post 2006 or so has LED headlights. The human eye was not made to have to look at bright neon blue light blinding you. Like, to quote that famous meme, I'm glad you can see 92 miles ahead, but yeah, I can't see anything. Thought I got rid of the cough. There it is. Probably just from talking too much. Coughs always take forever. And then, finally, question number 10. React to this live. Not now. Don't attempt listening until you do an LL3.5K recording of hearing this for the first ever time. Well, you wanted LARDLOGO will watch anything? Here it is. One-time return. Hello, I am the Logo Critic. I complain about it so you don't have to. Well, that's not what we're doing today. Instead we're doing this right here. I haven't produced an episode of this show in 7 years. This isn't really an episode, this is just... Speggy wants us to react to this. Looks like it's a song. No, I don't want to play Hero Wars. Stop with the ads. Okay. Looks like this thing's almost 7 minutes long. Okay. Play. Yeah, seizure warning. What the frick is this? Sounds like someone put the Tom from Tom and Jerry into a wood chipper. Is this all it is? Okay, that's enough of that. Holy shit. Okay, what was that? And there it is, everybody. Let's move on. Up next, the second part of my collection. These are all of my U-matic tapes. So without further ado, here it is. Please watch. Welcome back, everybody. Let's move into the U-matic tapes. I'm sorry, trying to catch the breath. The box was heavy. I'm going to show you my U-matic tapes now. So for those of you, quick history. U-matic was the first ever videotape to be confined to an actual cassette. So yeah, that really changed the game when it came to master tapes. I'm going to save my favorite one for last here too. This is once again a CBS reel. Speaking of, forgot to bring this one back to my studio, so I'm just going to leave it here to really put into effect how much it's my favorite, and also to give you an idea of how things changed. So here we go. A lot of these shows are very obscure television programs, which you might have to research to look at. In fact, one that I have isn't even available for viewing anywhere. So first and foremost, this is a television show called The Buccaneer. It's nice not having any film. Yeah, so here it is. This is one of the obscure shows that I have. Here's what the inside of the case looks like for those of you curious. Put that one down. This is a TV show called The Mothers-in-Law. And these are in cases. These were tapes that were erased and re-recorded with. Back in the day, these things were expensive, so you had to wipe stuff. Here's an example. You can see WNT logo. Curious as to what that is. There's a date for 1993 on here, which is interesting. Here's the side. And here's the inside, September 28th, 1993. So yeah, on the top. Just realized I have the mirror flipped over, the screen flipped over, and everything's mirrored on the screen. So yeah, there's that one. And then real quick, gonna show you inside. I always like this little right here, how it holds the tape in place. This is a television show called Terry and the Pirates. This one appeared to be wiped out. It says Texaco Star Theater on here. Down here, Master. You have masters, which are the originals, and then dubs, which are copies. So this is definitely a master tape. This is a different design right here, with the exception of this label right here. You can actually see the tape inside. In fact, if you go in here, that's what the tape looks like. That's all I'm going to show you because I don't want to ruin any of these. Yep, but yeah, most of these are going to be really obscure shows. And the dogs are barking. I apologize for that. I'm going to save this one for later on. I've shown this one before, but yeah, I want to show it again. These are Snoop Dogg music videos. These were the first U-Matics I ever got a hold of. This is the Snoop Dogg music video, Just a Baby Boy. Universal Records. Here's your print logo. And then right here, here's the actual tape. Put that one back in its case. And then here's another one. This is Midnight Love. There's the front. Got some stuff inside the label. Death Row Records. And unlike the last one, this one just has a basic print on the front. And once again, show you that one. This right here is supposedly an episode of Wheel of Fortune, but it's on one of those smaller tapes. This is a 20-minute tape. So I'm assuming it's some B-roll video for newscasts or something. I really like this case right here, how you just do that and it opens it. But yeah, here's the tape. It could be a full episode without commercials, but my assumption is that it's just once again, here's the tape. You just go in here. I have long fingernails, so I'm just showing you that right there. But yeah, here's the tape. These are the smaller kinds that they used in news stations in the field. So it's probably just B-roll video for, this will be one of the first ones I send off to get transferred besides the last couple I'm going to show you, should I ever do that. Really like this right here, this logo right here. Wee wee. Anyway, this is another one. Mr. and Mrs. North in Alibi. The show is called Mr. and Mrs. North. And look at that, another logo right there. Air date, January 19th, 1983. Probably what was recorded over on here. This cassette's messed up. Don't know what happened. But yeah, here it is. This card right here. Look at that, there's an ABC logo right there. Wonder what this was and they are wiped over with. But yeah, here's this tape. Just going to do it one more time. What the tapes look like. Dogs barking downstairs. I do apologize. You're going to hear a lot of that. And this tape, this case got screwed up. I don't know what happened here, but... So this was a segment for Northwest Afternoon, which was a news magazine program that ran locally up here on Como 4 in Seattle. This is a short segment about Circus Vargas. And here's a label telling people that you can only run this once. Only one airing and never again. Kind of like the episodes for that Hitman game show I was talking about. And here it is. Here's the tape. Content that was only ran once. I like watching it rotate around on the camera. I'll stop messing around. I'm going to try to steamroll through this stuff. I'll do the beta cams some other day, but for tonight... This is another show called the M Squad, not to be confused with the Mod Squad. This is another obscure show. And here's the tape. Nothing to report here except for all this pencil writing right here. This one wanted to close right away. pretty good. These also have to do with Circus Vargas. These are copies of the same exact thing. I'm going to assume, they say dub 230 seconds. I'm going to assume these were the commercials they ran to tell people the circus is coming to town. I bought these mainly just because I thought this was really neat right here, because this is my local station. Dated for May 31st, 1985. And the case is really cool too. Here. In fact, I'm just going to open this real quick. Yep, same exact tape. And then the other one, I'm going to assume they just had copies of it in case something happened to the original, because these U-Matics always had issues. Never liked messing with these. Yeah, same exact thing. And there you have the address. Whoops. Get these off of the screen. This one right here is another one of my favorites. This is a U-Matic syndication print of the Beverly Hillbillies. Have two Christmas time related episodes, Turkey Day and then Home for Christmas. And I really like this logo right here. It reminds myself of the CTV logo, which has always been one of my favorites. And on the side right here, and then you open this one up. And this address right here is around the same area where Viacom operated from, so that's pretty neat. Yeah, when I showed this one off on the Discord servers, when I showed my new tapes, everyone wanted to see this one, so I'm giving you guys a little bit of an extra opportunity to look at this one. I will have this one transferred as soon as I can too, just in case there is a videotaped logo at the end, videotaped V of Doom. But I'm going to assume that's a syndication print. And this is one of the many tapes of the Bat Masterson show. I really like this logo right here. Yep, Bat Masterson. Where are we on the timer? Okay, we have a few minutes. But yeah, here we are, Bat Masterson. I've got 4 of these tapes, so I'm just going to kind of steamroll through these. Bat Masterson, Volume 3. This one's in a blue case. This one doesn't have anything exciting on it, just generic case. If I remember right, the show did rerun on MeTV for a little while, but I don't see anywhere where they rerun it anymore. This one right here is also Bat Masterson. Remember when I talked about how they used to wipe tapes? Oh, this was originally Nightline, and I'm going to put this up here for you guys to see. You can pause and look at that if you want, because I just think this one's really neat. This appears to be an off-air recording. And then you can see they covered the side there, unfortunately. Yeah, there's no protective seal over it. I'd rip it off to look at the rest, but then I'd rip the whole thing. And then this tape has nothing on it, but you can see this one's not covered. You can actually see the tape inside. One last time, because this is really neat right here. I kind of wish it would have still been Nightline. But, you know what? This was back in the day when they had to wipe tapes because they were too expensive to keep stuff. This was before preservation. And finally, Bat Masterson Volume 1. Which is just another opaque case with the exception of this window right here. Nothing special to report about. There we go. So I saved my favorite ones for last, and before I get into that, I'm going to put everything back in its box. Yeah, I apologize for this. I just want to get this out of the way. That way I don't have to do the cleaning afterwards. Because I don't like cleaning. You should see my room. It is an absolute disaster. You do not want to see my room. It's terrible. It's kind of like Tetris trying to fit all these tapes in here. There we go. Perfect. So these are my two favorites. So I've already shown this one off, but this is In Albert's Room with Tony Randall, which I'm going to send this one over to the Lost Media subreddit, see if anybody has any copies or anything. But yeah, this is the first one I'm going to get sent off whenever I do get to it. Got the distributor right here. Wonder if they're still in business. I'll have to look that up later. Yeah, there's the side. I've shown this one off already, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but yeah, here's the tape again. And there's the back. If you want to see any more on this, I uploaded a piece about this earlier on. And last but not least, this is my absolute favorite tape. This is a U-matic transfer of the Honeymooners episode Sleepwalker, which was transferred by CBS for use in their 50th anniversary special. This came out of the estate of a CBS employee. This is another one I'm going to get copied over. There's the side, so you can see. There's the front. Open this one up, and yeah, here it is. My favorite one. There's the back side. And yeah, once again, I want to show you guys the difference between film and tape. These things are giant dinosaurs these days, but these were revolutionary back in the day. Wish I had some 2-inch videotapes to really show you the difference, but that'll have to do. I think these are 1-inch tapes, if I remember right. And yeah, those are all my U-matic tapes, and there's my favorite film reel again. This is my absolute favorite of all my syndication prints and master tapes. We'll get to the Betacam some other day, but I gotta get in and continue editing this thing. I'll see you guys back in the narration. Let's go back to December, shall we? And welcome back, everybody. Let's finish out the questions. We got 5 more questions, and then we can get ready to sign this thing off. Really kind of disappointing we had to make a part 2. Speggy Man, I appreciate the questions, but you sent in a little too many. I'll just remind you next time when the comment section is closed, so you can't ask any more questions. Was debating whether or not just to do this for LL3.5K, but we'll just keep up here. Question number 11. What were the first thoughts from your mind when glancing upon Alexa Bliss for the first time? Actually, to be truthful with you, Joe Worth didn't come until long after. So in the WWE, before you make it there, unless you're a mega superstar, You start out in NXT. That's a developmental, and that's where Alexa started out. I guess my first thoughts would honestly be, wow, she's small. That's probably my first thoughts. Anyway, let's move on. Question number 12. Those questions are sort of getting out of hand and weird and cringy. I also feel this. That's right, isn't it? Analog laughing emoji. Yeah, you kind of went a little too far asking questions. I appreciate it, but yeah, you sent in a few too many questions. I even kind of got after you for it. I appreciate it, but you sent in quite a few, and there really shouldn't be any reason that I have to make a part 2 to this special. Next time, write down all of your questions when we do LL4K and just post them there. If you think of anything else, save it for LL5K. That's just what I'm going to say. Moving on, question number 13. Wow, we have another long one. What's your diet? What do you use to regularly eat and drink? How much real, cooked, I'm not going to say that word, I hate that word, candy, restaurant, etc. food do you eat, and how often of each category? How much water, juice, soda, soft drinks, alcohol? Just curious. Lamau! Yeah, my diet, I actually have a notepad document written down that shows my diet. So during this time of the year, this is the diet. So Buldak instant noodles, that's my favorite food. I also like cinnamon bread, neoguri, which is another Korean noodle, pancakes, rice doused in soy sauce, toast doused in butter, and then waffles doused in cinnamon and sugar. Yeah, my diet's terrible. I'm gonna die early. Other food I like, canned bread. Started eating it after I found it in the Hagen, which is a supermarket chain based out of Bellingham. Sort of the whole SpongeBob SquarePants thing. There's an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants where Squidward moves to a community of his own kind, and they have canned bread there. Cinnamon rolls are pretty good. Corn and mashed potatoes, that's the closest thing to healthy food we have here. Also in there, chicken breasts with barbecue sauce, that's another closest thing. Egos are good. Fish fillets and fish sticks are good. French toast, fried chicken, grilling the cheese. That's what I call grilled cheese sandwiches. Hungry Man TV dinners. Matzo bread. I mean, I'm Christian. I'm not Jewish. But yeah, that stuff's good too. I like pizza every once in a while. Rice-a-roni's good. Pasta-roni's good. Shin ramyun. That's another Korean instant noodle. Super pretzels are nice. Toaster strudels are good. Tofurkey's nice every once in a while. It's fake vegan meat made out of tofu, but it tastes just like it. It's just insane. Apple turnovers, I like those. And then yakisoba. And then for things to drink, I pretty much drink nothing but Kool-Aid because I am poor and can't afford to buy soda all the time anymore. Sometimes I'll mix it up. Water will go in there. I will get junk food when I go out and watch trains. I'll get some sort of beef stick, some crackers and chips. I like to drink half and half. Favorite soda would be Ruby Red Squirt, so that comes to. And then Blue Raspberry Minute Maid, that's a good one. And then I'm like any energy drink like Red Bull, Rise Fuel, C4, Prime, Ghost Energy, that's good. And then of course the pack of Reese's. During the summer, when I'm running scoreboard, when I'm working baseball games, my diet is the same meal before every game. Hot dog, ice cream sandwich, and Dr. Pepper. That's the diet in the summertime, but everything else is during the non-baseball time of the year. Question 14. You say you have social anxiety, but how do you manage basic stuff such as getting tickets and getting into such social events? kind of 50-50 when it comes to it. There will be times where I have no issue getting out and about, and there will be other times where I do not go anywhere out of fear of socialization. Another thing that happens, I will randomly, out of nowhere, just feel disgusted with myself. Looked online, apparently it has something to do with depression, which is something we have. But it really doesn't affect us as much as it did in high school. But yeah, you know, regardless of the situation, I will come home and spend several hours detoxing afterwards. So yeah, being social comes with a price. That answers that question. Question number 15, final one. How many people in real life know about your YouTube channel, online presence, and or logo, rail fanning, and siren interests? Only a few people know about this YouTube channel, but it's an open secret on my Facebook page, which I'm not going to give for privacy reasons. I have this channel linked here. It's kind of an open secret. I've always had this kind of fear of what people are going to think about myself once they see my actual interests. But at the moment, my family, close friends, and then my bosses know about this channel. That's pretty much it. Will other people find it in the future? We'll just have to wait and see. And with that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the final part of this special. This is my collection of Betacam, Betacam SP, digital Betacam, and HD cam tapes. Have fun. And good evening once again. Welcome back to the future, or technically the past. It's the future, but it's also the past. It is February 18th, 2025. Happy belated President's Day to all, and happy whatever since the start of this production and the broadcast date. You know what days it is. This is the final part of the broadcast where I show each and every one of you all of my Betacam tapes, and I have this divided into 4 separate parts. First, we have just Betacam, and then we have Betacam SP, then we have digital Betacam, and finally HD cam. So we have 2 Betacam tapes, 19 Betacam SP tapes, one of which won't be seen with the exception of the case, 10 digital Betacam tapes, and 1 HD cam tape. So we're starting out with simple Betacam. You've already seen these 2 tapes because I featured them on my collection of Saturday Night Live Masters, but right here we have the 15th anniversary special, tape 2 of 2. This is a Star Maker Entertainment Master. All of my Saturday Night Live tapes are. But anyway, real quick, so Betacam came into the market in 1982 as the successor to U-Matic. And Betacam, when you combine everything into the same family, Betacam, Betacam SP, HD cam, Betacam SX, there's a whole bunch of others. It was the most successful master tape format ever. In fact, some stations, some places still use it. Like, take for example, CNN still uses them. Recent photo in the WWE vault showed them using HD cam tapes as recent as 2016. CNN was still using them as of 2020. Let's get into it. So, yeah, this is the original version of Betacam. Here it is. It's just a blank tape. Nothing too special to report here. Though, I would like to show you guys how big these things are. How big and massive these things are. So this is a VHS tape. Here's the difference between the 2 of them. These things are absolutely massive. Since I told you guys one of these days I'd show you the size difference. And then for further size comparison, here's the size difference between a U-matic tape and a Betacam tape. So, yeah, you can really see. And then, last but not least, I'm going to put you back in your case. You don't want to go back in, do you? Okay, there we go. Just putting it in the wrong way. For further reference, this is a Betamax tape right here. Here's the size difference. And I will bring up the Betamax again here in a few moments. But anyway, that's the first cassette right there. The second and final one, this is the Saturday Night Live Goes commercial. These are both 60-minute tapes. Nothing on the side here. Here's the instructions. Don't touch the tape. Don't drop it. Don't expose it to sunlight. Don't expose it to magnets. Rewind after use. Store vertically. And then it tells you where the tab is. I'll show you that here in a minute. You can see the labels were used on this one. So they used the labels on this tape, but they never wrote anything on it. Now, these early tapes were blue colored. Later on, SP ones were black. Anyway, this is the record tab right here. You pull it out, you can record with it. You push it in. It keeps it right protected. Unlike VHS's where you rip the tab off and it's permanently protected, you can push in and pull out. So I guarantee you that there was a whole lot of wiping that took place with lower budget production companies that couldn't afford to buy new tapes. So now we're going to move on into the Betacam SP. Betacam SP was the second version, which came out in 1987. So first and foremost, this is just a blank tape. This was the first tape I ever bought. It's a 3N. You can record about 20 minutes of video to this one. Got the labels right here. The instructions, I'll flip it around. And here's the tape itself. Once again, this is just a blank one. And once again, I'm going to bring that Betamax tape out. Because these two things right here, they are the exact same size. Exact same size right here. In fact, you turn it around, it's pretty much the same thing. So, yeah, that's the first tape right there, just a blank one. That was kind of my introduction to the medium. So this is the one tape that's an exception. This is Dexter's Laboratory Season 1 Episode 10. You have the title information here, the side. And you'll notice there's no tape in there. This one got stuck in my machine back in late November and refuses to come out. And you have to do what's called an emergency eject, and I don't have the video screen or monitor connected to the machine, which is actually in the closet just out there. Someday I'll get one, see if we can eject it, but yeah, on the bottom right here. So this is the one exception I was talking about. And this right here is a blank 90-minute cassette tape. Once again, nothing special to report here, it's just a blank tape. And here's the labels and the instructions. So yeah, nothing really to report there, just a blank tape. This was back when I was just simply buying to buy. These next 4 tapes, I have absolutely no idea what's on these. AQ2307. These are 90-minute tapes. I have no idea what's on these. I just searched up Betacam tape used, and the seller just sends them like this. Yeah, there we go. This one's the same exact thing. This one says AQ3741. This one says AQ3799. I think that says Jacob Vapors Catches. I don't know exactly. Apparently he's a fisher or something. I'm not real sure. One of these days we'll get the mystery solved. So that's those 3 right there. This right here is a locked cut of Extreme Makeover Home Edition. This is actually the second to last episode of the original series. You can see this one's seen better days. This one's in kind of nasty condition. This side you can still make it out. And on top right here you have a barcode. Now this is a Maxell tape. I think I just bumped the camera again. I do apologize. This one right here is a re-release of a National Geographic special, For Americans in China, which I believe is from the mid-1980s. I think it was it ran on WQED, the PBS Pittsburgh affiliate. This came from the same seller I got those blank unknown tapes from, hence this right here. This is a Fujifilm tape. This was the first used Betacam tape I got. This was the first one. There's the labels. Pretty much tells you the same exact things. Here's the tape itself. This is a 90-minute tape. Up next, we have, this is Road to the Super Bowl. I don't know what the Roman numerals read, but this was the one that had the Falcons and Broncos in it. I like the little stars they put on the side. And now we move back into the Saturday Night Live tapes. This is the best of Dan Aykroyd. This needs to be retaped. It came off the case cover. That's a 60-minute tape, by the way. I forgot to show you the number on the side. This is, bump the camera again, part 1 of the best of Eddie Murphy, another Fuji tape. I don't know if I showed that or not. If I did, you get to see it twice, I guess. This is the best of Eddie Murphy, part 2. This right here is the best of Gilda Radner. This is an Ampex tape. Bump the camera again. Really need to work on that. These cases are kind of hard to open. There we go, we got it. And I'm going to pause the production right here so it doesn't make multiple video clips on the editor. I'll be right back right about now. So moving on, here we have Saturday Night Live, the best of John Belushi. And now we have Saturday Night Live, the Classic Years, Volume 1. This is tape 1 of 2. 2 tapes for this one. And here is part 2. This barcode was originally on there, but it wore off. Got to retape it on there. And here we have Saturday Night Live, the Classic Years, Volume 2, another Ampex tape. And last but not least, this is a two-parter. This is Silent Motive, which was an early 1990s Lifetime movie. Both of these tapes have issues. This is part 1 right here. A whole lot to read about on this one. I'll explain the issue with these here in just a moment. These are the Spanish dubs, by the way. These aren't the originals. You can see the tape moving around in here. Yeah, this tape broke in the machine and snapped, so most likely a multi-tape. And this is part 2. This one ran for about 20 minutes before it started having the same issues. I really got to stop bumping the camera. And those are all the Betacam SP tapes. So now we're going to move into digital Betacam. First we got 6 little ones here. These are all McDonald's commercials. These have been seen before also. This is from February 29th, 2000. These are just short 6-minute ones. This is a McDonald's commercial from August 25th, 2000. Once again, the back of the tapes, very similar to Betamax. Pretty much the same cassette design. The only thing different is the tape quality. This one is from January 28th, 2002. I've never even noticed this before, first time seeing that. Well, now we know it exists. I'll have to look at the other tapes and see if they have that stuff. And look at that, another one. I've never even noticed this before. Oh, yeah. This one is from May 29th, 2003. This one's a Maxell tape this time around. This one is from February 10th, 2004. This is another one. This is June 15th, 2004. This is a very shiny top right here. Probably rarely put into a machine. And finally, for the small ones, this is one from January 6, 2005. This one has trouble opening also. Don't know what's wrong with this one. Now, if I remember right, quantity was Sony, so nothing to really report there. Moving on into the big tapes. Both of these are the same exact thing. These are just blank 124-minute tapes. So I'm just going to go through. I'm only going to show you one because they're both the same. Forgot to show you the case. I'll do that real fast. Just gotta put you back in. Yeah, this one's the exact same thing. No reason to really show you the same thing twice, so we are not going to do that. This right here is a master of Pokemon Picture Perfect, which was released home video. This was Siren Entertainment in Australia. You can say they erased over Case of the K9 Caper for Picture Perfect. Got a lot to look at on this one. This was left over from when they originally used the cassette. It's a 94-minute long tape. So you had 94 minutes and then 124 minutes. Last but not least, I have one HD cam tape, which is just a blank tape. This was back in I just bought blank tapes. I didn't buy masters phase. And that's everything. Those are all of my tapes. These labels don't even go in. And would you look at that, guys? We are finished. Let's go back to the past to sign off this special. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I thank each and every one of you for 3,000 plus subscribers. Last time I checked, it was 3,200. I'm very thankful for that. And I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. When we hit 4,000 subscribers, as previously mentioned, I'll answer some more questions. And then I will also release all the video I have in the archive right now from the unproduced Search for Logo series, as well as everything from the unproduced Work of the Wood pilot that was mentioned in the first and only produced episode, Search for Logos. Once again, the Search for Logos content's going to be censored, but it will be up. And then for 5,000, we're going to bring back LARDLOGO Will Watch Anything. So with that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, you can hear the music playing in the background. That's the end of the special. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. I'll see all of you in the future, either with another upload or most likely something posted on community. But until then, this is Eddie Worley III signing out. Thank you all for joining us. Good night. Remember that Jesus is King. God bless each and every one of you. And thank you, Papa. Alright, we are done. Let's jump scare ourselves again.